Hey guys, my name is Tessa, and today we're going to be doing power yoga for beach body. So let's go ahead and get started. So go ahead and position yourself onto all fours, and what we're getting ready for is plank. But first we need to warm up. You never want to just get into plank having not warmed up. So in this tabletop position, go ahead and just spread your fingers wide and really start to press in your palms. And just be aware of where you're balancing your weight. You don't want to be moving your shoulders over your wrists. You want them to be in line with your wrists. So in this position, just letting the wrists get used to being here. So now we're ready to get into full plank. So go ahead and if you haven't done this for a while, it's a somewhat challenging position to be in. So you can start with one leg and feel the weight start to transfer a little bit more into your hands. And if you're ready, you can just come on up into full plank. So a lot of, toning and building strength is about letting gravity help us. So in this position, I'm having to hold myself up, really feeling it in my arms. And in this plank position, you want a slight bend in your elbows. And if you get tired, go ahead and just come onto your knees. So you want that slight bend in your elbows, really pressing into your palms and feeling that strength start to build. And one more thing to remember, you don't want your shoulders creeping up. You really want to feel like there's space in between your neck and shoulders. So let's go ahead and just take a breath. I'm gonna go ahead and just walk myself forward a little bit and just enjoy how it feels, the heat that's starting to build. You can shake out your arms a little bit. So we're gonna do that one more time, and we're gonna do a few different variations. So same thing, you don't wanna rush when you're doing this. This is yoga. So you can go ahead and just spread your fingers wide again and press, and one leg at a time. So this is really great for arms, of course, and it's also good for core. So you really want to engage that core a little bit more, engage your awareness. Really drawing in the abdomen, feeling strong in your thighs, but you're not locking your knees. And go ahead, and if this feels easy, it's not easy, but if you want more of a challenge, you can start to touch your shoulder, one-legged plank. And you can do that a few times. And if that feels like too much, just stay in whatever variation feels right for you today. And you will become stronger if you do this every day. If it's here on your knees, that's fine. So let's go ahead and rest in child's pose. So go ahead and bring your big toes together. You can walk your hands back, knees apart. And you're just gonna keep your big toes together, but bring your knees as far apart as you need to really drop your chest. And so the goal is to keep letting the tailbone descend towards the heels. And if you have some tightness in your back and hips, your hips are gonna be up a little bit further, and that's fine. So just keep letting your hips descend, and you wanna walk your hands forward like this, really creating space in your spine and each vertebrae. And just letting this be a passive child's pose, letting your head rest. And in any forward bend, it's an opportunity to breathe deep. So just take a few breaths into your abdomen, feeling energized with that breath. And a good way to breathe when you're doing yoga is in through your nose and out through your mouth. Really just let go, release tension as you exhale. So now that we're rested, let's go ahead and start our vinyasa work. So go ahead and come to standing and step to the forward edge of your mat. So bringing your feet about hip distance apart. So vinyasa in yoga is flowing through different poses, really being aware of breath. So let's start in Tadasana. There are some things that you need to remember in any standing pose. So really rooting down through your feet, below the big toe, below the little toe and center of the heel. Really feel rooted. Feel your thighs lift as you nudge your tailbone forward, and you can bring your palms to center, just letting the shoulders relax down the back. So Tadasana, standing mountain pose. You can go ahead and bring your arms overhead, feeling rooted in your feet as you tuck your tailbone forward, feeling that length in the spine. And go ahead and start to move into this forward bend. Start bringing your chest towards your legs and keep your legs straight. Don't bend your knees. You want to keep lifting your thighs, and you don't want to lock your knees back. You want to feel a softness in your knees and a strength in your thighs. So really bringing your chest in towards your legs. If you feel any pain in your back, go ahead and back up and just don't go as far down. And let's just linger here for a few breaths, letting the hamstrings and the calves release. Taking a few deep breaths into that abdomen and feeling strength in the thighs. So from this position, go ahead and you can bend your knees to come into plank position. So make sure that your hands are lined up at the edge of the mat, and you're just gonna step back into plank. Doing what we did a few minutes ago, so pressing into the palms, letting that strength build in the arms, keeping that bend in the elbows. And you're forming a straight line in plank. You're not trying to do downward dog. You're really just forming a straight line, building some heat. And from here, from plank, go ahead and press into downward facing dog, pressing the palms. Go ahead and just spread your fingers wide, really be present in your hands, and press into downward facing dog. Pressing the thighs back, letting the heels descend, moving the chest in towards the thighs, and feeling that strength in the thighs. And back into plank, feeling that strength in the arms. Chaturanga. If you don't have as much strength in your arms right now, go ahead and drop your knees. Otherwise, just go ahead and come down, Chaturanga. That can all be done with your knees on the floor. Cobra. Go ahead and just press. So you're pressing the palms, especially the inner part of the palm, and you're bringing your elbows in. So with Cobra, sometimes I see this happen, and you really want to keep those elbows tight in towards your torso. And again, letting the shoulders relax away from the ears, relaxing the face. Go ahead and press up. So we're coming into tabletop position. And at any point, if you begin to feel faint or out of breath, you can come into child's pose or whatever seated position feels good. Otherwise, let's keep going. So from tabletop, this is a great way to work your glutes and your arms a little bit more and your balance. So from tabletop, go ahead and just lift one leg. And you want to keep your hips even. You don't want to drop one hip. Feeling it a little bit more in your arms. And again, you don't want to be pressing so much that your arms completely straighten. You want to feel buoyant and really lifting your heel towards the ceiling. And go ahead and release. And opposite side, same thing. Go ahead and just extend that leg out, really pressing the palms. And remember to breathe. And you're lifting that heel towards the ceiling. And be aware of your center, your core. Tighten your core as you're doing this. This is a great full body exercise. So we're gonna make it a little more challenging. If you don't feel ready to move on, that's fine. Just do what we did. And even this position is really good for building strength. So extending that leg back, keeping the hips even. So go ahead and start to just lift that hand, feeling the weight transfer into the other palm. And you're gonna bring that arm forward, really reaching through the toe tips and the fingertips. And the more that you reach through your limbs, the easier this balance pose is gonna be. And if that feels like too much, just place the hand and you can even place the knee. So opposite side. So extend that back leg, feeling that buoyancy in your arms, transfer the weight. And then other side, really reaching through your toe tips and your fingertips. And balance is a constant practice. It's not something that you just attain and it's done. That's important to remember in life too. So just reaching and feeling that heat build. Relax your face. And go ahead and release. So child's pose once more. Gonna bring the big toes together, knees apart, and just rest. Let your tailbone descend towards your heels, letting the head come down to the floor, or you can rest your head on your forearms. If you have a block, you can use that. And just take a few breaths, enjoying how you feel after that challenging work we just did. So making child's pose a little bit more active, go ahead and wherever you are, just keep descending the tailbone towards the heels and keep walking your hands forward, letting the spine release if there's any tension that happens from working the muscles. Just let that spine release. And you can let the elbows come up off the floor, really pressing the palms, walking the hands forward, descending the tailbone. And if you're here, wherever you are, it's the same work. And just letting the chest come in towards the legs more and more, feeling length in the spine. Coming in a tabletop, getting ready for downward facing dog one more time. So just spread your fingers wide, pressing into the palms. To come into dog, you want your wrists just in front of your shoulders and your knees just in back of your hips. So go ahead and just tuck your toes under and pressing back into downward facing dog. Feeling that strength build. And if something feels a little bit off wherever your feet are, you can just walk it out a little bit. You never want a pose to feel mechanical. There's always something happening and moving in a pose. So pressing the palms, pressing the thighs back. Go ahead and walk yourself forward. So feet are hip distance apart, and keeping your knees bent initially, feel that strength in your thighs, straighten the leg, and coming into forward bend one more time, maybe feeling a little more at ease in your hamstrings and your calves. And coming out, lifting the thighs to come out. Go ahead and bring your arms overhead, feeling length in the spine. And palms back to center. Okay, so let's do one more vinyasa now that we're nice and warmed up and a little bit clearer about how to do vinyasa. So just bring your feet together if you'd like more of a challenge. And spread your toes if you can, rooting down through the feet, lifting up through the chest, tucking that tailbone forward. Getting ready for our next vinyasa. Inhale. And exhale, forward bend, bringing the chest in towards the thighs. Go ahead and look up, lift your thighs, open your chest to look up, back down, and bend your knees if you need to place your hands. Stepping back into plank might feel a little bit easier to be in plank. So pressing those palms, feeling strong in the arms with elbows slightly bent. And chaturanga, slowly coming down. Cobra, pressing the palms and the tops of the feet, bringing the elbows in, let the shoulders relax. This is a great position to work the triceps a little bit more, the backs of the arms, which is great for a bikini body, beach body. Feeling the heat build. Tuck the toes, coming right into downward facing dog. Go ahead and press those palms. Bring the chest in towards the thighs. And really press those thighs back, descending the heels, pressing the inner palm. And walking the feet forward. Feeling strength in the thighs in this forward bend. Bringing the chest forward and lifting the thighs to come out. Lengthen, really reach through those fingertips back to center. Tadasana. And go ahead and just take a few breaths. And we are ready to move to the floor. So go ahead and just get on your mat. And so we're gonna start in this seated position. You really wanna be aware of what your feet are doing and back bends because it keeps your back safe. And it also allows you to work the right muscles, to tone the right things for that beach body. So again, even in this position, you're rooting down through the same spots on the feet. So you want your feet about hip distance apart, and you're rooting down below the big toe, below the little toe, and center of the heel. And so really stay present in your feet as you start to lay back, and you want to tuck yourself in a little bit and go ahead and just lay down. So for any back bend, you want to tuck yourself in, tuck your butt in towards your heels until your fingertips touch your heels. So this is the starting point for any back bend. So now we're gonna let gravity help tone our butt, which is a great thing for that beach body. So any position where you're pressing yourself up from the floor, it's gonna help you tone your glutes and your legs. So pressing the feet, just lifting the hips. And if you're pressing your feet, you don't need to worry about your knees going out. You really want your knees in line with your feet. So pressing, feeling that strength in your thighs. Build as you hold, and go ahead and just bring your arms overhead. You can tuck your chin in towards your chest a little bit. Make sure that you're not tensing your neck in this position. Just feeling that heat build. You really gotta hold these for long enough to feel that heat start to build. And to release, just slowly bring your hips down and take a few breaths. So making this a little bit more challenging, make sure that you're in the right position, fingertips touching heels. And again, you're gonna just press, coming into that same position. And this time, you're gonna interlace your fingers underneath you. And if it feels like too much, just do the first position that we started with. So you're just gonna tuck your shoulders under, coming into bridge pose, really pressing the feet. And you wanna just press into your feet as much as you can to lift your glutes, really feeling your inner thighs start to engage. And the key with this to get results is to really stay present in your feet. Really press and relax your face, relax your neck as you feel that heat start to build in your thighs and your glutes. And slowly, you can just let go and release, bringing those hips down. So we're gonna do one last variation of bridge pose today. And if it feels like too much, you can do anything that we've done. It's all great for toning up the glutes and the legs, getting that sexy beach body. So go ahead and start by pressing the feet, feeling that strength in your thighs. And the key here is to not lose that position in your feet as you wiggle yourself down towards your heels. Your heels might come up a little bit, that's okay. Just don't let them fly up in an effort to grab hold of your ankles. And this is a more advanced pose. This is something to work towards if you haven't been doing yoga for very long. So in this position, you're gonna tuck your shoulders under, just like in the last position. And this is a little bit more challenging, holding on to the ankles and really pressing down with the feet. You're gonna feel this a lot in your thighs, your inner thigh, your glutes. Remember to breathe and slowly release. And that is our last strength building pose. Let's go ahead and end with Shavasana, corpse pose, which is a lot of people's favorite pose. So go ahead and you can just you can kind of scoot yourself back onto your mat and just relaxing for a little while. So you can bring your feet wider than hip distance if you'd like. And you can let the palms face up, just being receptive. And make sure that your shoulders aren't creeping up by your ears. And you can just relax your face, close your eyes, and acknowledge yourself for showing up and doing something healthy for yourself. Thank yourself for being here. Just relax your face, let your body feel heavy. Take a few deep breaths. You can breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth, just letting go of any tension or judgment that you might have about yourself. Doing that really good or doing it really bad really doesn't matter. And another deep breath. And eventually, not trying to control the breath, just being aware of it. Letting the body feel heavy. And you can spend as long as you would like in Shavasana. You can pause this. Otherwise, go ahead and wiggle your toes and your fingers. You can open your eyes. You never want to sit right up. You want to roll to your side for the sake of your neck. You can just roll to your side. Come to a seated position. I want to thank you for joining me today. If you like this video, please subscribe down below. If you have any requests for videos, let me know, and I would love to do a video for you. And I hope that you have a great day. Namaste.